Hi everybody, it's Sister of Jeans and I'm here to bring you another anime review. Now the anime that I will be reviewing today is called On Go. It started reviewing October 14th of last year and finished December 23rd with a total of 11 episodes and one special episode that aired in theaters called Episode 0 and will be released to us in the DVD.
On Go, some of you don't know, is an anime series that is influenced by the talented Japanese novelist Ango Sakaguchi and her novel Meiji Kaika Ango Tori Monocho, and is a mystery sci-fi that takes place in the far future where Japan is suffering from post-war destruction and terrorist attacks. This is where Rinroku Kaisho and Yuki Shinjiro come into place. They are both detectives and in a way compete with each other to solve numerous cases that seem to be connected behind the public eye of the corrupt government. Kaisho and Shinjiro both seem to compete with each other in the series because they don't share the same morals when it comes to solving cases. Kaisho's understanding of discovering the truth is to show the criminal that what he did was wrong and to learn from his mistake, though Shinjiro has a more aggressive perspective on it. When he finds out the truth, he wants to expose the person for what they've done and has this side of him that wants to find absolute truth. I say this because Shinjiro's assistant Inga, who is the twist of this series and makes up for the supernatural aspect of the anime, is a demon that wants to eat souls of humans. In a previous encounter that we don't know of but is explained in episode 0, Shinjiro and Inga seem to have made a deal where Inga can stay by Yuki's side and feast off people's truths instead of their lives. This gives Inga, the strange little boy that morphs into an attractive woman, the power to ask a person one question that they inevitably have to answer, which complements Shinjiro's ways of exposing corruption. If Inga, however, does not get to feast off of that, she can have Shinjiro's soul, and of course that can't happen or there'd be no story, right?
Now, even though the plot of the story does seem interesting and seems to have this underlining meaning of what truth means, I don't feel like it was displayed well. And I say that because the first 6 episodes of On Go are just 6 separate, unrelated cases in the series that seemed too rushed to really comprehend what was going on and were slightly predictable. But don't let this turn you down because once the end of episode 7 came, everything seemed to mesh together into one story, and I felt like they did do a good job. But I'm going to talk more about that later on, and we're going to move on to the characters.
The characters in On Go come in different varieties, which makes this series interesting. You have the intelligent and conspicuous Rinroku Kaisho, who is known as the brains of Japan and one of the best detectives, who seems to get a lot of attention because he never makes a public appearance unless he's behind the computer screen. Then you have his beautiful Dora, Rai Kaisho, who is a non-believer in her father's forgiving ways, so she gets involved in all the investigations and especially keeps her eye on our main character, Yuki Shinjiro, who is also known as the defeated detective in the series. Next you have the stubborn prosecutor Izumi Koyama and Senjin Hayami, who is the head of the Metropolitan Police, teamed up with Ren that don't do too much and only have a couple of lines every episode. Lastly, we have our interesting character Inga, who is Yuki's assistant, or so that's what they say. Inga is actually a demon, I'll call her, that takes pleasure in eating people's truths in substitution of their souls. Inga therefore is teamed up with Shinjiro so she can help Shinjiro with his investigations and get her lunch in the process. With the small number of characters we have in this series, they all do have their place in the story. However, Seigen Hayami, who is part of the main cast, really doesn't seem to compare with the rest. And alongside that, most of the main cast has no development whatsoever besides Yuki and Inga, which is probably why the episodes had that rushed feeling, because it only focused on the theme and not as much on the characters. Besides characters, we have the music, which is awesome. The beginning and ending theme songs were very attractive and had an eerie feeling to it, and I could listen to the whole song every episode and watch the full beginning and ending with no problem. Besides that, the music fit the anime perfectly, in my opinion, to every scene. The art and animation was produced by Bones, which I'm sure you all know is an amazing studio. The art style seemed a bit different from the normal when it comes to the character structure, especially with the character depiction of Inga. But all in the while it was brightly displayed and even its gloomy moments was done well.
Now, even though I said the first half of On Go was more on an introductory note, meaning that there was no real story, I still feel like there's a pro to any con. Because even though there was no story, You still got a feeling of what the characters were like. And to me, I feel like the descriptive dialogue that they use in this series kind of keeps you attracted. And even though it seems a bit rushed, it makes you think, and it's complicated. And I like complicated. Because some animes should just make you think. And after episode 7 came, I felt like it took a 360-degree turn for the best. Because after that, the story seems to focus on one case. And of course I'm not ruining anything for you, but after it ends, it really makes you think about what's right and what's wrong. And what's reality and what's fantasy. It just mixes those two themes together, and I feel like it was done really well. And even though episode 0 was not shown to, well, anybody but Japan, I still feel like the ending resolves well, and it doesn't leave you with that cliffhanger. I'm really satisfied with how Ungo ended for now, and once episode 0 comes out, I will watch it, and I'm really expecting a complimentary resolved feeling, because they did a great job with this, and even though it's more on the complicated note, I'm only recommending this to people that want to watch a serious anime. And to me, it was the right time for me to watch this. So don't get down because the first half doesn't seem like it makes too much sense. But it does come together, and overall, I did enjoy the series. And if you've seen Ghostic, I would say that Ghostic and Ango are a lot alike, except that Ghostic was more romantic and Ango wasn't, and Ghostic was more predictable and Ango wasn't as predictable, barely predictable. I think one case was predictable to me. Everything else wasn't. So I would definitely check it out if you liked Ghostic, and if you like mysteries, it's great. So yeah, that solves my review. So until next time.